right, so first of all, I hope that, okay, first of all, I hope you're going to be able to hear me okay. There's going to be kiddos getting out of school, probably some of them giving me bunny ears on the way out, and somebody ringing a bell for the ice cream man, etc., etc. But bear with me, and I'll speak up. So, I don't know exactly what today's video, it's gonna be off the cuff, which most of them are, and I'm going on a few weeks now living in Los Angeles, and this has become one of the spots that I go daily to. Well, let's talk about this. What do people who are homeless or in transition, just don't have a place, what do they do during the day if they're not working, if they're recovering from illness? Well, you got to find a public space to be, and that's a lot of what the problems we're seeing in each city is. We kind of want to sweep people into the corners, margins of our cities or the lives around us, and this is where you really realize public spaces in cities, and the more public parks and the areas that have restrooms and facilities for the citizens without paying, without feeling the guilt of having to go in and buy a coffee or being, I've noticed in Los Angeles there's a lot more stringency, or they keep people out of places. They don't have public restrooms even if you're using the grocery store often. And I get it. It's sometimes I understand these places have had issues with people using drugs or making the bathrooms a mess, but I think the benefits to people who are living outdoors or struggling far outweigh the risks if we provide those services. And so this is an area that it's a community so far. People are very nice. There's a lot of people that are really in dire situations, and that's why I always want to talk about, as much as I say that I'm part of the homeless community here, I don't use that word lightly. And there's a stratification across homeless, and there's people who are living on Skid Row who have addiction, maybe mental illness, or just didn't have the ability to plan ahead and didn't have the equipment or even a vehicle that's working. And I realize that every moment of every day. That's why I'm not asking for sympathy about my situation. I'm not asking for anything really in that regard. But you acutely become aware of how good your situation is, and also how challenging it is for other people. So I'm really grateful to have this space where I know some of the people here. Each day I've had great conversations. I met a really great young man yesterday, 27 years old, going through his own struggle, and he was very open about it, and I'm hoping I'm going to interview him down the line. And that's bringing us to another topic. What am I going to be doing with this channel? How am I going to be using it? What do I want to do with this? Well, I want to get people's raw stories and whatever their struggle's been, whether it's been chronic illness, mental illness, addiction, all of the above, and how people, and I'm focusing on America because that's where I live, and I hate when people hate when I say America. I mean United States of America, because I understand my friends in South America and everywhere. That's America too. So I'm focusing on here and in the United States, and the things that are being taken away from people, and the stigmatization of those who have less. And it's just something I'm seeing all over. And they just announced in Los Angeles that they're going to be a lot less gentle, as they put it, in terms of cleaning up those who are homeless. And I can't tell you how many people I've met who are working, who are busting their butts, but they're still in a circumstance that doesn't allow them to afford housing. And I think that's one of the things I want to bring attention to with this channel, I also want to be ridiculous, and that's the side you haven't seen yet, but I promised myself I would not hold back, and that's going to offend a lot of people, and I apologize ahead of time, but politely, that's why it's a free market on the internets, as they say. You can unsubscribe, you can unfollow, you can write snarky comments if you want, whatever fulfills you, but I will be focusing on those who I resonate with and who appreciate what I'm trying to do. And eventually I'll have subsections and other sub-channels about just how you live on the road, how you can save money, even if you're not going through a struggle, but you want to emphasize downsizing and living where you put more of your resources into living rather than paying exorbitant rents or for things that aren't really bringing you happiness. So that's a whole other sidebar. We won't go into that today. And I also want to talk about what you're seeing now in my present situation. Some of you who just are getting to know me, you might say, wow, this guy's doing yoga each day, he's at the park, doing exercises. No, it's not the case. I am bad at filming the down days, but I'm gonna get better at it. And I've had a couple this week were partial down days, but that's where I'm at now with my overall chronic illness. I'm out of flare generally. I don't like to call it remission. It's like a mini remission, meaning I'm feeling tremendously better than I was a few months ago. And I'm not out of the woods by any means. This is 15 years. It's not my first rodeo. So I've never had an extended relief that's lasted more than 2 months, and not really even close. So often this type of situation precedes a tremendous crash. And because I overdo it, or I never get treatment that is going to sustain things because I'm out of money now. And that's what the goal about this now is to utilize this remission that started with me going to the wilderness in New Mexico and doing all my self-care and getting out of my tent in the circumstances I was living in and coming to a place that has more resources and that I could get into a clinic. The clinic that I'm seeing here, though, it's very fortunate, but at the same time, I'm going there when I don't have the resources. So part of what I'm going to ask and I'm going to put out there is for those that can support in any way, and I'm going to do this more in a formal manner, but I'm just kind of making people aware that in order for me to even have the medication that's being made from my blood that was sent off to Greece, which is one of the most advanced therapies for some of my constellation of illnesses out there, and I've researched it. I didn't just come at this flippantly. I've really looked into all this stuff. Well, it's gonna be, I think my first round of medicine is gonna be at least $4,000. And I already paid $2,000 for the initial consult with the lab testing. And you can just get the idea that it's not gonna be cheap to get better, but what choice does a person have? They have to, if I try to use my Medicaid to get better, it's going to be the circumstances I was in New Mexico. I almost was dying out there. And because our system hasn't caught up to the fact to treat people with illnesses that aren't straight in line and that we have science and research treatments for. So I apologize today. I don't feel like I'm really giving a clear account with the way I'm speaking, but I'll get better at this. Some days I'm going to be more foggy-minded than others. And some of my stuff just fell in the background. But like I said, people will be running through, so I apologize for the distractions, but hopefully some of this will get my message across. And I'm going to talk about one other thing today, and I might be like, why is he wearing this goofy shirt? Well, I've had this shirt for now, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. And it's a company called Intelliskin, no affiliation. Nothing. I just want to talk about compression in general. I don't wear it for fashion. It's people in the chronic illness community will know our bodies are often in pain, especially fibromyalgia. And I found a lot of products that I used to utilize in my former life when I was an athlete, whether it was surfing, whatever it may be, that's compression wear that held my muscles together, so to say. And the compression helped with some of the pain, and especially when I wore compression socks, because I mean, a lot of us who have this chronic illness, we have things that you think of with people much older than us. And now I'm coming into the age where some of the stuff is practical. But this company in particular, there's levels to the compression wear, and this stuff is therapeutic level. So I have 3 hernias unoperated. Well, one they tried to fix and it failed. So I have to wear a lot of this stuff just to kind of hold in my guts. And I wear a hernia belt on top of it when I'm doing anything form of lifting, just moving stuff in and out of my car. So I'll talk about this stuff more in depth, but I really think that wearing compression wear and doing, and I think I'm gonna get interrupted here because people are curious about what I'm doing. Maybe not, we'll see. But the compression wear can really assist you, even if you're just laying in bed, if you just want to sit up, because a lot of us have trouble slouching. And this shirt alone, and I have some straps that I wear too to hold back, when I am really flared up and I'm sitting trying to just watch a show or read an article online, I would be slumped in a chair. And even with this on, sometimes I'm going to be slumped in a chair. But with this, it helps, and it kind of gives you that neuromuscular, like a little bit of a reminder to hold yourself up. So that might mean nothing to some of you, but I really want to pass on things that have worked for me, and hopefully I can find a way to make them more accessible to people, because some of them, truthfully, I couldn't afford this now, but I got it luckily before I lost all my money through paying for my health and my treatment. And there's going to be a lot of items I have that you're going to see that you might go, wow, how do you have those now? Well, I invested in them before, and I've kept them so like basically tried to take care of them so well, because I know that I'm not going to be able to upgrade. And I'm going to end this video because now they're blowing stuff.